They say some things are better left unknown. Not because they're dangerous in themselves, but because information can act like a parasite. Once a certain name enters your mind, it starts a clock you can't see. Imagine it's 2 a.m., you're in a subway station, the kind that feels too clean, too bright, yet somehow hollow. The hum of the fluorescent lights is the only thing keeping you company, or so you think. You're in the restroom washing your hands when you notice the air has dropped 5 degrees. It's not air conditioning cold. It's the kind of cold that feels like a heavy, invisible hand resting on the back of your neck. There's a dripping faucet at the end of the row. It's not rhythmic, it's irregular, like someone trying to catch their breath. They call her Kashima Reiko, and the moment you hear that name, she knows exactly where you are. She's counting the seconds since you learned her secret, and she's already on her way. You decide to hide. It's a primal instinct, really. You lock yourself in the third stall from the door and pull your feet up onto the seat. You don't know why, but you feel like the floor isn't safe anymore. Then the silence is broken. It starts at the far end of the hallway. A heavy, wet friction sound. Thud, slap. Thud, slap. It's the sound of a weight being dragged, followed by the wet peel of skin lifting off cold tiles. It moves slowly, methodically. You hear the first stall door push open. The hinges give a long, slow groan. Silence, then the second door. Each time that dragging sound gets closer, it's like a wet sponge being pulled across a chalkboard, a vibration that travels through the metal walls of your stall and settles right in your teeth. And you hold your breath until your lungs burn. You watch the gap under your door. A shadow begins to bleed into the light. It's not the shadow of a person standing. It's thick, low to the ground, and it stops right there, right in front of you. You can hear the scratching now. Tiny, frantic movements at the bottom of the metal door, right where your own shadow meets the floor. It's looking for something. It's looking for the half of itself that it left behind on the tracks. The scratching stops. For a moment, you think maybe she's moved on, but then the door doesn't just rattle, it groans. A heavy weight leans against it, making the metal flex inward. It feels like a torso, a massive dead weight pressing its full bulk against the only thing protecting you, and then you see them. Fingers, long, pale, and multi-jointed. They don't have fingernails. They slowly curl over the top of the stall door, gripping the edge so hard the metal starts to warp. They're blind, searching, twitching as they feel the air for your warmth. Then the voice comes. It's not a whisper. It's like wet paper tearing inside your own skull. It asks, "Where are my legs?" The smell hits you then. It's thick and metallic, the scent of old, stagnant blood mixed with the rust of ancient pipes. You can hear a clicking sound from the other side of the door, like a throat trying to swallow air it can no longer hold. The fingers over the door tighten. The hinges begin to pop, one by one, the screws falling to the floor with a tiny clinical clink. She's not asking a question. She's demanding a sacrifice. If you don't answer, she'll reach over and take yours. She doesn't care if they fit. She just wants to be whole again. The pressure on the door is immense now, the metal screaming under the strain of her desperation. Your voice is a thin, fragile thing, but you have to say it. You have to follow the ritual. On the Maishin Expressway, you whisper. The fingers on the door twitch. They don't let go, but the pressure stops increasing. The voice cracks again, more urgent this time. Who told you? You swallow hard, the copper taste of fear filling your mouth. Kashima Reiko told me, you say. The hinges are hanging by a thread now. You can feel the heat of her breath through the gap, a humid, iron-scented wind that makes your skin crawl. Then comes the final test. Do you know my name? This is where most people fail. Their mind goes blank, but you remember the cipher. KA for mask. You begin. The lights flicker violently. Shy for dead person. The air turns so cold your breath mists in front of you. MA for demon. The moment the final syllable leaves your lips, every bulb in the bathroom shatters at once. You're plunged into a darkness so absolute it feels physical. There's a high-pitched screech of metal on metal, the sound of the weight suddenly detaching from the door. You hear that wet dragging sound again, but this time it's moving away. It's moving fast, retreating toward the pipes, toward the shadows where she belongs. You sit there in the dark, heart hammering against your ribs, waiting for the silence to return. When you finally find the courage to leave the stall, the room is empty. The lights are dead, but the moonlight from a high window shows you the aftermath. Every mirror in the restroom is cracked, not shattered, but spiderwebbed in the exact shape of a human torso. You're alive. You survived the ritual. But as you walk home, the relief starts to sour. You realize that survival isn't an escape, it's a transfer. By saying her name, by knowing her story, you've become a carrier. They call it the 3-day rule. Now that you've heard this, she knows you. She's in the back of your mind, a static-filled memory that won't fade. Be careful when you go home tonight. If you live near a road, or if your bathroom is a little too quiet, listen for the thud slap. And whatever you do, don't look under the door. Because once you've seen the fingers, the questions are already starting. Sleep well, if you can.